Good morning, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Let me officially welcome you to our BYOB Profit Call. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Winning Wednesday. Yes, it is a Winning Wednesday, right? And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you come to the line with a winning attitude, a winning mindset. All right, guys? You definitely want to make sure that that's how you show up. And so what you want to do is make sure that you drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from, along with your affirmations. Drop it in the chat where you're calling in from, along with those affirmations as we prepare to get this call started this morning. So let's see, who do we have on the line? Oh, give me 1 second. One more second. All right, here we go. Now, let's see, who do we have on the line this morning? I can see my chat now. Minnesota, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Thailand, good morning. Good morning, good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, England. Good morning, Stone Mountain. Good morning, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. So yes, you want to make sure that you are dropping that in the chat. It is more of you all on the line. Now, mindset. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth, right? I'm an educated, right? We operate in that educated mindset. I'm an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades in profit, right? We want to always walk in that. And let me see, I'm 777. Let me see, who do we have? You know, I see some of you all still dropping it in there. I'm reading your affirmations. That is what I'm doing. I am destined and determined to succeed, right? I am economically unbothered, emotionally unbothered as well. Wealth and abundance, right? So I give thanks to the BYOB Cash Out Strategy for giving me a lifetime skill set. Good, awesome. I love these, right? I love these. So the market pays me daily, right? Things we have talked about. And so guys, definitely go ahead and drop it in there. That's definitely something that you want to do. And let me go ahead, and as I prep to get my screen shared together so we can see what type of money we're going to make today. We've done it, right? Okay, Columbus, let me see who else. Cleveland, I see you. Good morning, good morning. Milwaukee, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Baltimore, good morning, good morning, good morning. So yes, your story is going to be told. It is. Oak Creek. So if this is your first time here with us this morning, if it's your first time, let me get a 111 in a chat. And if you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. Good morning, UK. Good morning, Birmingham. Right? So that's a 111 and a 222, right? A 111 and a 222. So let me see. There we go. Welcome, and welcome back. Welcome, and welcome back. Welcome, and welcome back. Now, guys, what we're going to do is, just so you understand how this call schedule works, you understand the format, and you understand exactly what we're looking for. Now, Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. is our live profit calls, right? Our market analysis. So we go through, we mark up some things, and you still can't see my screen. That's not what I'm looking for. So there we go. Now you guys should be able to see it. So let me see here. Now you guys can see it. There we go. That's much better. All right. So as I'm looking at this, all right, and as we're seeing what you're looking at, and what you see is, we always come in and we check the news. Now, we do our market analysis and we begin to really kind of lay things out. You understand everything that we were talking about this morning as we kind of look at the trades that we analyzed and what transpired. This did pull down, and that's the importance of market analysis. That's the importance of going in and making sure that we totally understand, because if that's the case, then you can operate in profit. So you see a few of the things that we marked up this morning. However, the 9 o'clock call is geared toward indices, and that's ultimately what we're about to cover. We're going to go over. We're going to slow it down, take our time, walk you through it, Make sure you understand it. Make sure you know how to properly utilize the tools. Make sure you understand the tools, right? Make sure you understand what's transpiring in the market. And that's what this particular call is all about. On Tuesday nights is our basics. I highly encourage all of you all to show up at 9 p.m. on Tuesday night. 9 p.m. on Tuesday night, that is our basics call. That's the foundation. That's where we kind of lay it down because we build from there. And so it's just really, really important that you also show up to that call, right? You definitely want to show up there. And then, of course, tomorrow night is our advanced. That's our market structure. That's our tools training, all of the tools that we're utilizing, the vibrata, the harmonic scanner, the bounce back, all of those tools and resources that we're utilizing. That's where we dig deeper. Now, is that the only tools that they have? Absolutely not. Is that the tools that we're definitely going to be diving into and understanding? Absolutely. We're going to get deeper into more of them. Those are just the ones that we kind of dove into. You looking forward to the basics? That's phenomenal. Fantastic. And so, and the reason why I share this with you all, and if you've been on the call before, you've heard it, but I want to reemphasize because it's really, 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 really important. That is, we build. So no matter if you've been trading for 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, or you've been trading for one day, you fit into this schedule, you fall into this. So it's either you're learning or you're re-emphasizing, because we educate and implement. That's what we do. We educate and implement. So it's really important that you show up so you can show out in your trade account. All right. So now show up so you can show out. That's the bottom line. Now, what we want to start right now is, let's go ahead and take a look right here. All right. Now our US 30 just triggered for a sale. All right. It actually triggered for a sale. And understanding that, it triggered for a sale, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze this. Okay. Now, the white, you're going to see me flip back between the white background and the black background. It's just preference based on personality, based on personal preference. It's the exact same chart. All right. This is the exact same chart, but I want to make sure everybody's comfortable looking at it. Now, here we are. I'm going to start here. Now, we're going to analyze from the 15 on the indices because that's where it triggered from. One thing I definitely want to highlight, that this is not a signal. These are called in a correction. So it should be an expectation that when I see this trigger and I look over here, that we're buying. That's an expectation. Okay. There's an expectation that this is not going in a direction that this trigger is. Now, this trigger is what we call a high probability alert, right? So what this does is it scans the market and it's telling you that it's doing the heavy lifting for you. What it's telling you is, guess what? There's a sale coming. Based on our analysis, based on if this, then that, there's going to be a sale. It doesn't mean push the button. It means that it's indicating that it's a high probability for a sale. And you heard the key word in that, probability. All right. Now, also, as we dive in, and I'm going to keep re-emphasizing this on every single call that we do, my higher time frame is my direction. My mid time frames is my analysis. My lower time frames are where we enter. So understand what we are, analyze, enter. All right. Very important. Okay. And I promise you, you grasp that, you're going to grasp a whole lot dealing with your trade account. Now, let's go ahead and put this on here. I'm going to put this call price on here. Now, the call price is simply a call price. You see, I want you to read this. All right. I want you to read this. It says potential sale, potential, possible, right? Whatever your slang, your area in the world, however you enunciate it, it is potential, which means possibility, which means that does not say take a sale. Okay. That's a potential sale called at this price. All right. So we're going to put this price on here. Okay. Potential, key word in there, key word, potential. All right. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys understand that. Okay. And now let's see. This is where that potential sale is called. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop an arrow here so you understand what we're analyzing, okay? We're looking for a sale based on the trigger, okay? Now, what I'm also looking for is, let me walk you through the BYOB cash out strategy before we analyze the live trade. So knowing what that means, here we are, and I'm starting on the 15 because our trigger is on the 15. So if I'm starting on the 15, I'm looking around the 80. Now, when I look at my stochastic, right, I got three indicators. I have a stochastic, I got Hikinashi candles, and I have a PSAR, right? I got a stochastic, I got Hikinashi candles, and I have a PSAR. And when I'm looking around that, when I'm looking around where I am, right, I'm checking that out. What I'm looking for is this either is going to be selling around the 80, crossover and cross down, or I'm looking for a buy, crossover and cross up. That crossover and cross down is very, 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 very important, okay? Very, very, very important. Now, here we go. This is a crossover and cross down around the 80, all right? A round, keyword a round. Now, I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit because I want you to see. I'm also looking for the dot, which is the PSAR, and a flat top candle. Now, I found it right here. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. You notice we're US 30. This is what I'm looking for. Now I'm coming up to my hour for my time frame confluence. Step one, identify the strategy. Step two, time frame confluence. Step three, top down analysis. Where am I? So you notice that we're selling here, right? We're selling. Now this, we even had a GBP question this morning. The more liquidity, yes, you could drop down. There's an exception, but something has to be telling you. So obviously US 30 is a lot of liquidity. So I can drop down to my 30. So you see that that's actually what's happening right here, okay? I want to be clear of that, okay? Now I drop down to my 5 minute, and my 5 minute is actually still selling. Right? My 5 minute is actually still selling. Now, what you will see is most of these triggers will come in on the 5 minute. So if I'm starting from my 5 minute, what I'm looking for is you would have had that crossover and cross down, but we never had anything to manifest. So it actually pulled up into a correction. And now you can see right here where we began to manifest. Let me help you with something. Look at where my stochastic is. I know it's not at the 80. It used to be. It's a momentum indicator. It should have momentum. It should keep going. And that's ultimately what you see right here. So here on the 5 minute, now I go up to my 30, right? When I get up to my 30, you see that it is definitely selling, right? Everything is in alignment. I need confluence on my time frame I'm on from one time frame to the other, and then I need confluence on the time frame I'm trading on, which means that my stochastic is in that sell. My candle, this actually is like a really, really good one because this actually came in alignment. It's not often that you find two time frames that are in perfect alignment like that. When this happened, when this PSAR flipped, then you turn around and you actually have it here. And I'm saying that because I don't want you waiting on a higher time frame PSAR to flip. I don't want you waiting on a flat top on a higher time frame, right? If you do that, then you're waiting and you're going to allow that trade to pass you by. You're going to allow that entry point to pass you by, okay? That's what you're going to allow. And then when I drop down, I could actually enter that trade. You see how I'm still selling? I'm selling, and you would have been able to go to, now I like zone to zone on here. I want you guys to grasp that. So how many points would you have gotten? About 50. So at a minimum, you're talking about $50, right? So you can be in and you can be out the market, and you're going to see some individuals doing so, right? You're definitely going to see some people that's actually doing that. Now, I definitely want to, let's go back. This was triggered on the 15. Now it's triggered for a sale. Yes, it is. Do you see how that's buying? Does that answer your questions? Because you guys asked last night, you guys asked last week, some of you guys, this is your first call, but the question always arises. Y'all asked last year, the question always arises. Well, when I look at the vibrato, when I look at the web analyzer, it always seems like it's called in the opposite direction. Absolutely it is. Because it's not called in an opposite direction per se, but it is triggered. Now, this triggered at the top. You look right here. This definitely triggered on around here where this is selling. But remember, support, resistance line. Support and resistance is always a reaction. So I showed you guys this morning how the market reacts to the support and resistance lines. And when you understand how they react, then you understand why this trigger is always appears as going in a different direction. All right. The more you understand support and resistance, the more you understand why the trigger is hit in a different direction, because the triggers happen at support and resistance lines. All right. And if you have any questions, comments, or testimonies as we go through this, let me know. I like testimonies. So I don't just like questions, and I like questions before 9:59, you know. So if you have a question, you want to ask your question. So here we are right here at the 15, right? So here I am. Now, when I come up to my hour, now when this triggered, right? When this triggered, this was definitely, right? This was definitely a valid trigger. Now, what you're seeing is we're getting close to the bell. So there are going to be some things that come in adjustment because of the fundamentals. You never, ever, you need to pay attention to your trading sessions. Like you see across the bottom, these are the two markets that are actually open. However, we know that Wall Street actually starts at 9:30. You never start trading right before a session open, or right before a major announcement, or right before like you just don't do it, because that's that heavy, right? And like that's that heavy liquidity push that flows through it. You wait for those things. So now when I come back up here and I really take a look, all of this is valid. So I'm gonna just move some of these to the side. And what you're seeing is all of this is actually valid. Like, you know, we don't really need this. We know we're looking for this. I'll leave this for y'all because I'm about to delete everything. So this is valid, but what do we know? What do we know to be true? What do we know? Somebody help me out. Would you jump in the sale right now? Let's see. Where are my traders? Where are my traders? Where are my traders? And not because of the time. Just looking at this based on that trigger, and I'm looking at where I am because we at that top-down analysis approach. You're saying we're already in a sale? It triggered for a sale. But now I'm on phase 3, step 3. I'm squinching the charts up. Would you be so inclined to jump into a sale right now? Exactly. And so the answer was no. And I want to show you why, right? Right here. We have been getting rejected. This is a heavy rejection area. Now, if this breaks now, let's talk when it breaks, if it breaks. What I want you to understand is that we are oversold, right? We are oversold. On that 4-hour oversold, I got space on my 1 hour to catch up. On my 30-minute, I'm pulling out of it. You see how this market is reacting here? So you see how we're reacting? So we came down and we hit that rejection area. It pulled up and it pulled back down. So you didn't see all this on a higher time frame, right? So when you're looking at your time frames, understand that your time frames are simply, right? My time frames are simply me looking at the same thing from a different perspective, all right? I'm looking at the exact same thing from a different perspective. It's just a different area, a different viewpoint. It does not change the geographical location. It does not change the actual price and where we actually are, right? So I want you to be clear of that. So this is a heavy rejection area. So it has to clear this before we take a sell. Now, you notice that we had that trend. You notice that up here, we didn't take this that morning because of the inconsistency, right? There was a lot of inconsistency yesterday. Some of you guys did, but there was a lot of inconsistency. And then once it broke, you guys started trading and we knew where we were going to because we had already marked it up. So now it hit that area, it pulled back and rejected, and now it's kind of sitting right there. All right. And if I go jump over here and look at my, wait, that's US 30. Oh, that's the dark one. I'm like, what? Where did it go? If I jump over here and look at my S&P, it's doing the same thing, right? So you notice that for S&P, we actually have this trend line right here. Could we draw one over here? You know, we actually, not really because it's bouncing off of there. But for S&P, we actually had that trend line, right? And you notice how it's reacting. So don't forget, tomorrow night, we're going to hit on this stuff again. So remember how we didn't take that trade the other day, right? That for this area right here, now you understand why. We don't chase money, we chase skill set. Because I know some of you guys are like, why did she call that trade? This too risky. It's too risky. We don't do that. We're educated traders. We understand things. We trade from a we trade from a perspective where we understand what's happening in the market. So we know that this is that trend. So if I'm a buy, it needs to break. And so what's going to happen is this will pull up here, it'll retest, and then it'll come up. Now, based on what I'm seeing, look at my stochastic right here. Look at what's happening on my 4-hour. You see it hasn't been able to move up. So we're kind of having that same situation over here on my S&P. So all of this is the same. It's all the same. It's all happening the same, right? So where do we know if it breaks and if it sells? Let me give you where we're going. Okay, so we're coming down to around here. Now I'm gonna mark that off as my psych level. Yep, it's the psych level. It's the psych level. Change the color to the right color so we always have that consistency. And of course, you have your other levels that are in between here. But I want you to understand, look at how the market's reacting around there. And yes, this is a reaction. That's considered a touch, even though it has a little space. And that'll eliminate you from thinking that there's anything like a market manipulation and all of that other stuff that people try to say, right? Because the orders are taking place. They're not thinking about you. Let me help you. They move in millions and trillions of dollars. They're not thinking about you. You're a retail trader. They don't care about you. I'm just going to try to keep it as real as possible. They don't care about you. So, and I care about you, but they don't. So now if, as I'm looking at this, look, we talking about, we started talking about that compounded sheet last night, it's on our website. We talking about starting a trade account with $500 and they moving millions of dollars, the lot sizes. They're not thinking about you. Just trust and believe that. So now when you come here, you can kind of see, look at where my stochastic is, right? Look at what's happening. We got all this rejection that's happening. So that's our US 30. This is our NASDAQ. So you can kind of see it's a raggedy trend line, but it's still, it's a raggedy. But, once we started getting those dips, I'm going to start from probably about right here. So you can kind of see like that from where you put it, right? 1, 2, follow through, right? 1, 2, follow through. So one, right. So you can kind of see, I'm going to adjust it a little bit. Now, remember your trend lines, don't be sitting there all day trying to, like I said, I guess we're going into a part 3 tomorrow night. Since we open up the bounce back, but I don't need you sitting there like trying to, is it this? Is it right here? I just need you to get in the area so you can see how the trend line is to help you see how the market's reacting. Right? That's what it's for. Okay. Like you see how it tapped it, it's retested. So are we going to buy? Right? Are we going to buy? What are we going to do? My hour and my 4-hour are not confluent. So this one is really up in the air. We got a lot of up in the air right now. Then come on over here. That's S&P. Look at gold. Gold is kind of hanging out in that area. So anytime, like I'm telling you, don't counter trend trade gold, but you see how gold was in a nice upper move. When it bounces, it bounces. When it's sideways, I don't touch it. I like consistency in gold. I don't like gold will turn around, gold will bounce. And if you actually allow gold to get its structure, you will never, ever, ever again say that gold is bipolar, right? If you allow gold to get its structure, you'll never, ever say that again. Now, Bitcoin is still hanging around that pivot line that we took. Now, did anybody take any of this? Did anybody get any of this money? Because we did talk about this. We did. Tell me you guys got some of this. Tell me you did. Just tell me you took some of this. You made some of this money. So what you're waiting on, like Bitcoin is overbought, right? Bitcoin is overbought. 1 and 4 overbought. 30 overbought. 15 overbought. 5-minute not. So you want to allow it to wait. So if you haven't already taken a trade, if you're a scalper, you might grab some of this, but you want to allow that to kind of do what it's doing. But everything is still kind of pointed up. But you see how we're starting to get that curve? You can kind of see a little rejection happening right up in there. All right. You guys can kind of see that. That little rejection is happening right up in there. And so you're overbought. So I would be very mindful to make sure we don't get a pullback. But Bitcoin can travel in an overbought area. I mean, we're just at the center point, which is that pivot point. It's quite possible it's going to retest, pull back down a little bit, and go from there. So any questions? The market seemed like a pretty decent setup this morning. Yeah, money is, I know it's supposed to be Money Making Monday. We're going to have a Money Wednesday. We're gonna have a money heist. We about to take the market. So we're gonna take the market. That's what I feel like we're about to do. All right, so let's see here. Now, if it don't move, I'll stand corrected, but that's just how I feel right now. Any questions, comments? Because we definitely have, let's make sure all the charts are ready. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you have your charts up. But any questions, anything, any questions, any comments, any. We still have 5 minutes before the bell. 5 minutes before the bell. All right, 5 minutes. You see what I mean? Like, look at this little structure inside of structure. So this is a rejection area, right, that we just talked about, right? Let me pull it back up so you can see it. You see this little rejection. I'm gonna move this box down so you can see the actual rejection area. That's a box from yesterday. We're making adjustments to it right now, catching up with the market on our analysis. So right here, when I drop down, let's show you, because that's what I was trying to explain to you guys earlier. This is just nice. So it's a rejection. This looks like a wick, a few wicks on a higher time frame, right? So when I drop down, you see, 1, 2. So when I drop down, now you got a trend line in there. So sell is short, but remember, we are your MetaTrader 4, where you enter the trade, says sell. And just for understanding, right, just to kind of really help you guys. So when I was studying, right, when I was got my Series 6 and all of that, that's a big part of, the information. So, shorting or selling. And so when you are working with an advisor, then that's like the language that's spoken, because that's actually what's happening. There's actually a sale. You're going to sell what you have, sell out of your portfolio, sell those things. And because it's the same market, right? Even like in my study material, you had the head and shoulder patterns, you had all of those sorts of things, right? All of that was in there. But it's the same market. We just had looking at it from a different perspective. So when we say sell, we're technically not selling anything, but there are sales happening. You might not be, like Trade Whisper, is not putting in an order where I'm selling assets, okay? But there are assets being sold. So that's why it's still called a sale, because assets are being sold. What we're looking at is real live transactions happening in the market. So so I know it's a new world, because when you if you had some stock, or if you had something and you're like, I need to buy, I need to sell, when you're looking at it, you're not thinking like, okay, let me go and sell this, or let me go and do that. Like, you're not thinking about it, because that's what's typical, right? Oh, I have these in my portfolio, so now I want to sell it, right? And that's when you think you'll actually walk out with some money. But it's the same market. Look, we just got a piece off flip. So it's the same market. Nope. And see, okay. Question earlier, right? Anytime, I gotta shift gears, so because we're close to the bell. Question earlier, right here, blue line cross over the red candle, flat top, piece or flip. Let me jump over here to my 30 where my confluence is. This is in a buy. I got is confluent on here, meaning that not confluent with what we're looking at, but it's confluent on here. Meaning that this is in a buy. Look at that stochastic. That's a nice crossover and cross up. That's a beautiful green candle. So I do not have confluence from one time frame to another. So the question was about dropping down for high liquidity items. You can't drop down here. Okay. That said, the market has to be showing you, it has to be giving you reason and indication that you could drop down. There is none here. So here we're not dropping down. All right. So and even still, if you did, it's going up, but no here. So that's nothing more than a correction. Now you see why it has a wick. Sometimes that'll happen on the lower time frames. It'll happen on the lower time frames because the candles are only like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, right? So just so you understand, I saw that and I'm like, oh, this is a perfect example. Perfect example of when you cannot drop down based on liquidity. All right, so we already know we were looking now. Remember, don't forget that US 30 and NASDAQ kind of hang out together. Let me get down here with gold. because I know some of you are, because of the profitability, we will scalp gold. So let's keep it where we can see it. Okay. But waiting on Bitcoin to get its move as well. Here we go. Waiting on the bell. We have 8 seconds. 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. Did I answer your question about that though? Check my 30. I need that to kind of move a little bit. You see how that's a new 30-minute candle. Look at my stochastic starting to get some curve to it. It's fighting right there. Let's see what's going to happen if we get a PSR flip, but I don't like what's going on right there right now. This needs to get that hook back out of it, right? So let's not get, look how that spiked up. What did I tell you, right? You see how that spiked up? Look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ bounced off of here. So you see how what happened here is fundamentals met technical analysis, right? Fundamentals met technical analysis. Fundamentals and the technical met. So you see we had that trend line we already identified. We already identified that it came back and retested it. So bam, right? You see that? You guys see it? Fundamental and technical lined up, and that's why that bounce happened. So if it breaks through here, when it breaks, but I want a little bit, I need something else here. Yeah, anytime the market, I told you the market's liking us this morning, right? The market likes us. See, we just ride the wave. So let's see what's going to happen here. It was a beautiful example. That's exactly what it was. Yep, it's beautiful. So let's see here. That's the S&P. Let us see. What are we going to do? We're not going to try to anticipate at all. See what I mean when I didn't like that? Let's see. Are we going to, is that sale going to play out? We're getting that hook on it. Now that wicked up. Let's see what's going to happen. Look how we're starting to get that curve in it. On that S&P, we're starting to get some curve to it. We're pulling back down over here. So get back down here to my 5. Now we have a PSR flip, right? Got a PSR flip. We're starting to hook right there. This is where we can drop down. Now we can drop down. So you see what's happening right here. So look at my 5-minute, right? That's hook. Look at my 30. I got a red candle. I'm starting to get some curve. We understand where you are in the market. So we know we're not trying to sell past here, guys. If you do grab it, please be mindful of where you are. Pay attention. Don't get in a ditch. Don't do it. Please don't drive off the curve. So because this might stop here and it might come down here. It's a might and a might, right? You see how we're coming down. Like when we drop down, this is when you actually got that flat top. So here you got about 2 minutes before, but you always drop down for the tighter entry because we already have everything lined up. And you know that this is ultimately where your take profit would be right there. Is my S&P coming? They hang out together. It's concerning when they're not together. You know, you got those friends that never leave each other. Well, that's these two. And look at how we're starting to pull back down some. So we are definitely reacting to this space. But I want you to make sure we don't drive off the curve, okay? Pay attention to where we are. I want you guys to pay attention to where we are. It looked like it's about it. So that PSR had flipped now. That wick out made it flip back. So what are we going to do? Right? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Gold still hanging strong. Bitcoin is trying to get free. Bitcoin wants freedom. Bitcoin wants freedom. It's a Wednesday. Y'all got some good questions, but y'all gonna have to wake up. I'm just saying. I'm just sitting here talking to myself. See what I mean? Look. What I just tell you about right here. Because of where we are so close to right up in there. Like, you got to be mindful of that. You got to be careful of that. And look at this wick out. Look at this workout. You say not at all. So we just had the PSAR flip and everything on the NASDAQ. Remember, you saw it pull it up. Now look at the NASDAQ. So you see why we don't anticipate, why we wait, because this was a line where it looked like it was bouncing off, but it wasn't a true bounce off, right? So we just said, hey, look how it's bouncing off the trend line. And now it wasn't a true bounce off. Look at how it turned around. That's why you wait for everything to get in alignment. That's why you do it. Now, for those of you all who are new with us, I'm not going to tell you, hey, go ahead and push the button right now. Like, that's not how we do things here. What we do is we analyze and walk through it, because remember, I'm not with you 24/7. And I'm quite sure you don't want to hang out with me that long anyway. You guys have you guys want to be able to take your trades on your own and then be able to walk away from it, right? That's what you want to be able to do. Like, I just know, right? I just know let's see what's gonna happen. I think so. They get a new 5 minutes. So you can kind of see where we are. NASDAQ, right? So remember this morning we talked about that disrespectful child? See how they just got disrespectful, but they got back in alignment. Now, let me ask you guys this, since do you guys understand why I say you don't try to anticipate or you get into the trade right before the bell? Like, you guys see that now? Why we don't do that? Why we don't do it? Absolutely. So when you're getting up for the London session, and I'm telling you, like, for those of you all who get up early in the morning, please don't get up in between them sessions. Like, after the Asian session close, right before the London session, don't do it to yourself. I remember when I started trading and I would just let them sit overnight and everything would be like going so beautifully. Now, from a scalping perspective, 10 pips and cash out, and before I really, really understood the cushion, the fact that the market consolidates some early in the morning like that, I used to be like, what happened to my trades? What's going on? What's the market doing? I went through my spaz out too. Everybody go through the spaz out. Everybody go through the spaz out, right? But we don't want you to go through the spaz out. That's why we have a full system in place. But then when you start understanding the market, you start understanding how to take the trades and what to do. So right before the London session, the market's consolidated because the Asian session sets down. And so the market is technically still open. So it's moving, but it's crawling. It's consolidated. So when that London session opened, that is the most liquidity in the market. So it is a nice push of liquidity that happens. So you don't want to start the trade right before, because I was one of the ones that had to get up early in the morning and be up. Like, I'm up. We about to do a breakout, the London session. And, you get all excited. And then you be like, what happened to my money? What happened? Because you got in the trade right before the bell, or like right before. So hopefully y'all at least got this NASDAQ. But this is what would have happened. That liquidity push. This is what the experience used to be. And that's why we take our time. We don't get caught up in that hype. Like, I'm not doing hype. I'm not your hype man. All right? I'm not your hype man. And that means that we're going to educate you and you're going to be empowered. You say it's funny because it's so true. I'm telling you now, I'm not your hype man. We're going to educate. All right, NASDAQ is playing nice. See, S&P and US 30, they want to sell, but it's like they're right there. It's that pressure of orders. Guys, I'm telling you, when you see this happen and it stops at those points, that's that pressure of orders. That's why I said don't fall off the curve. You see how it wicks out at those areas? These are orders happening. That's that pressure of orders. That's what that is. All right. That's why you get so much rejection that happens at that area, because it's like buyers are trying to take over at that area. That's what's happening right now. But who's going to win? And we're just going to watch the game. And then we don't gamble. We don't bet. We're just going to sit back and watch who's going to win. Right? So you see, so this is all of this in this area will be considered success because of where it's coming down to, right? And if I really want to get technical, I could move this thing down some more. Maybe not on this time frame since it won't let me. And pull this down. Make sure it's sitting like on that psych level, that mid psych level. So you see how, look what I mean. Look how it wicks out right here. Look how we wicking out right here, because it's pressure from all those orders right there. So right here is pressure from all those orders right there. Around psych levels and around, those areas is where you get a lot of orders taking place. That's why they're called psychological levels. That's what they are. That's what they are. All right, so guys, you got any questions or anything? I know NASDAQ is doing somebody right now. Yep, NASDAQ has been good to somebody. And we're just patiently waiting on these jokers. So you can see like in that wick how they are. Let me show you. And that's the real, don't forget just the real price over here, because you have both of these prices. So, right, but look how close they are. So look how much in alignment they are. You see that? Look how much in alignment they are. Come through with the 777s. Come through with the 777s. Let's see where we are. Look at, so I'll open it when we get here, but this is still good. It's a little gap, but it's still good. You see the difference? 45 and 34, right? So my trend, so my real price is at 41. My real price is at 41, and my trend price is at 34. So we're definitely doing the right thing. Definitely. NASDAQ about to give us another take profit. Let's go see where we are. Let's go check our location. So now if it does break through there, where am I at? I still would pay attention to this. If it breaks there, I would still pay attention to this, because it's quite possible it's going to turn around and bounce off of here. So that's why we stopped with the take profits on NASDAQ right here. But if it does break, I will highly pay attention. A trade in profit should remain in profit. So a trade in profit should remain in profit, all right? All right. So while we let that play out, keep your stuff up, keep your computers up. Let's see where we are. Okay, so this is another one, guys. This is another one. So the USD JPY we talked about earlier. Now you can see how these were our take profits. So it's either earlier or yesterday, one of the two. But you see how these are our take profits, and you see how it came down and it kind of bounced off of here. You see right here where it bounced off. And this line is because we said it's possible that it could pull down. I really want you guys to pay attention to those things, because sometimes even though we're oversold or overbought, the market can still pull in that direction a little bit. That does not mean it's an automatic turnaround, okay? It does not mean it's an automatic turnaround. If I go, like, let's just say this 20 is Miami. Can I still go south even though I'm at Miami? Can I get all the way to mile zero? Can I get all the way down there? And so that's what you want to remember. So somewhere in here, as I'm approaching, like I'm at Miami, but that doesn't mean that on 95, I can't keep going. So just because it's down here, just because you're in Miami does not mean you got to turn around and come back up to Jacksonville, right? That does not mean that. What it means is that you should be at that point where we turn around and come to Jacksonville. But some people keep going and they go all the way to mile zero. So just because we're oversold or overbought does not mean that it's about to drop right there, because that was the case here, but it pulled back down. This one actually went to mile zero and pulled back up. So before it turned around. And so that's what you're seeing right there. All right. We're still rejecting right here. So obviously we're not touching GBP CAD. Euro USD, it came up here, right? So it came up here and it triggered for a buy, but we didn't have any more room for a buy. We talked about those heavy areas right there and a retest and everything. And you see it never broke it. It never, ever, 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 ever broke it. Never broke it. Never broke it. All right, so let's see. We should be bouncing. We should be getting some bounce here soon. So we're bouncing off of that area. So we're almost at that 45 mark. Look at my 3 minute already flipped. All right. So let's see what happens. We got about 5 seconds and we should be bouncing off of there. This should pull back up. We should. So that's our new 30 minute. Look, what I tell you. Didn't I tell you? I just told you guys that. So just got a PSR flip on a 5 minute. So look at my 30 minute. My 3 minute, right? So that's all I'm gonna say. S&P, it's got to break that trend line. S&P has got to break that trend line. Don't do it to yourself. Let it break that trend line. Bitcoin broke out. Let's see here. Bitcoin broke out. Did we get a trigger? I told you guys watch it. I've been telling you watch Bitcoin. Bitcoin is breaking out. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, come on, come on. So you see what it looks like on a higher time frame? If you have not touched it, I'm telling you guys, don't. It'll pull up to about right here in this zone area, right around this line. Then you want to let it break this before you do anything else, okay? Let it break this before you do anything else. I'm telling you now, let it break that before you do anything else. So questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies. Tried to tell you, look, can I get my 777? All I want is my 777. That's all I want. That's it. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yes. There y'all go. Come through with the 777s. Come through with the money. I told y'all we was gonna make some money today. Tried to tell you. And if you are new to the car and you are still learning, just stick with us because you will be making some money too. Just stick with us and practice. Don't watch us, practice. Your demo account should be open. Your demo account should be open. Your demo account should be open. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me? If you're not live, what should you be in? And yes, I want those 777s too, because perfect practice makes what? Who's with me? Who's with me? Perfect practice makes what? Perfect practice makes what? Exactly. Exactly. Where are we going? Where are we going? Let us come up out of here. So if you did not take a trade already, right, you're going to wait. I want y'all to respect this line, though. So if you did not take a trade already, then, yep, exactly. So you see, if you did not, then what you're going to do is you're going to wait till it breaks through here, okay? Look at my 777s. There's NASDAQ. Come on, NASDAQ. So don't take, that did not mean push the button just yet, okay? That's not what that meant. So I told you guys it was going to kind of bounce off of here, right? I remember how I told you we're going to bounce off of this area. I needed it pulled down here, and that's why I said this was our take profit, this one, and we're not doing, you see, look at that, it's bouncing off of there now. You want, where I'm located is really important. So S&P should be breaking that soon. I told y'all I wasn't playing with gold right now. Bitcoin do not look like it's trying to turn. It's trying to get back to that pivot point. All right, so let's see. Questions, comments, testimonies. Guys, we are almost done with this call. Questions, all I know is I said we was going to make some money today at the top of the call, and voila, here we go. Yes, baby surfer. I love y'all. Oh my gosh, I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. I really do. I do, I do, I do. Baby surfer riding these waves. Yes. So look, you're coming up to about right here in a minute. Hold on. I'm not going against the grain. Like, so my 5 minute just flip, guys, I'm not, for the sake of nothing going against the grain. So yes, my 30 minute is up, my 4 hour, you can see all this rejection that's happening right here, because that's what you're seeing on that lower time frame. All this rejection that's right there. When you come to that lower time frame, like you can see all of that. We already knew, and that's what you're seeing. That does not mean you anticipate a trade, okay? That's not what that means. That does not mean anticipate a trade. That's not what that means. All right. Definitely want to make sure that. Look at US 30 already back up here on that trend line that it already broke to come down. So you're getting some reaction right now, I'm sure. I'm sure you guys are getting some sort of reaction right now. It's some sort of pullback happening. So you want to always understand where your take profits are. And if you ride it through it, then secure your profit. So even if it pulls back or decides that it bounces back really hard, you're not impacted, okay? Because what you're feeling right now is it's hitting right on this level right here. And it's on that trend line. So you're going to get some rejection. So we don't need a spaz out moment. We need an understanding moment, because you might have been riding that wave and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why is it doing that? That's why it's doing that, because it's coming up on a trend line. See, trend line. Why do you think we're focusing on trend lines? We spent a lot of time on support and resistance, and now trend lines. Anybody have any questions, any comments? If you did not take a trade, come back tomorrow with your demo account open. Make sure you have your demo account, because you won't feel the market until you feel the market. You're not going to understand this until you feel the market. So you need to feel the market. So tomorrow, you're not just going to get on a call and just look at it. You're going to push the button in your demo account so you can get your demo 777s, okay? And that's the same market. Just make sure you're demoing with the broker you're going to trade with. So if that's it, no other questions, no other comments, no other testimonies, right? And I love that, the baby surfer riding the wave. I like that. So if that's it, then guys, what I'm going to do is we're going to close out. Remember, tomorrow is Thursday. This was a Money Wednesday, right? And so definitely want to go ahead and turn this call over. You guys are so welcome. Ms. Brownlee?
Yes, Ms. Dyer. I want you to know we literally feel your love, and we thank you so much for it. Let's pray. God, this great movement and these awesome coaches that you've given us are evidence of your hand and your heart at work. God, we see what you're doing, and it's marvelous in our sights. Blinders have been removed, and we can see you far better now. We see what you're doing better now, and we no longer depend on speculation, God, but we rejoice in the revelation that you have blessed Mr. Rogers with. God, you have divinely anointed Miss Dyer with this awesome strategy, and you made Dr. Bythewood wise beyond his years, and each of them, along with our second generation of educators, Miss Anderson, Miss Brantley, Miss Perry, Mr. Sims, and Pastor Washington, they were all born for such a time as this. And because you're no respecter of persons, every one of us in this movement were born for this time. And we decree and declare that we are faithfully walking under this open heaven as educated, dedicated master traders. Now, God, we thank you for enlarging our borders as you lead us to the next million households by March 28, 2022, that they be impacted, empowered, and educated as we are. God, we're thankful and we're appreciative and grateful to you. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen. And thank God. And this officially ends this prophet call. Let's go our way rejoicing in prosperity and abundance. And we'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. God bless.